plates, and we put poly-D-lysine and PBS solution in the wells. We put the plate in the fridge, and we have made our beads and PBS mixture. So now we come back to our plate, and what you're going to do is, if you remember from the cell culturing video, you're going to tilt the plate this way, and using your pipette, we're going to remove all the PBS and poly-D-lysine mixtures and put them in a waste beaker. Be prepared, don't stab the bottom of the wells, because poly-D-lysine is stuck down to the wells. And when you remove all the liquid and you hold it up to the light, you should actually see kind of like a glossy kind of surface on the wells. That's how you know the poly-D-lysine is stuck down. So what we're going to do now is wash each of the wells, because we don't want any excess poly-D-lysine lying around. So you're going to take some PBS like this, and you want to be extremely gentle, because the poly-D-lysine, if you squirt too hard, the poly-D-lysine will all come off the wells and you'll be back to square one. So you're going to take your pipette tip, hold it up against the side of one of the wells, and then squeeze out the PBS so that it drips down the side and accumulates around the edges and then moves in. You want to make sure you do this very slowly so that the poly-D-lysine is not disturbed. Don't squirt like that, that's bad. You want to do it very slowly. You're going to do that for all the wells, swirl it gently, then we're going to do the same thing. You're going to tilt, remove all the PBS solutions, put them in the wastebasket. You're going to wash 3 times. Once you're done washing, we're going to take our beads mixture, which is Vortex and thoroughly mixed. You're going to add enough mixture so that it covers the bottom of the poly-D-lysine layer. So you want enough so that it covers the entire area of the well. The same way, you're going to do it very gently. You're going to take the tip, hold it up against the edge, squirt it out very gently. You don't want to, do it with too much force. You just squirt out gently. And you're going to do that for all the wells. Once you're done, you want to cover it with paper towel. Put it on like a black surface. Make sure it's away from sunlight. That needs to rest for 2 hours. The bead's going to fix themselves to the poly-D-lysine. You can let that rest for more than 2 hours. The longer you let it rest, the more stuck down the beads will be. Once you're done waiting for the beads to stick down, you come back. You want to remove, so you're going to tilt the plate again. There's going to be some beads that didn't stick down. You're just going to remove those, put those in a wastebasket. You're going to wash 3 times again with PBS. Be gentle. So once that's done, your plate is ready to be used for Motility Assay. If you're not ready to use the Motility Assay yet, you can wrap it up and put it in the dark in a fridge so that it's preserved. But if you are ready, what you're going to need is if you remember the culturing cells protocol, you want to collect some cells that are on a plate, put them in a conical tube and suspend them. And so you know how to do that. So what you're going to do now is you're going to need to count the cells that are in the tube, because you don't want to put too many cells in each well, because if there are too many, their paths are going to collide and you're not going to know which cell traced out which path. So you're going to be using a cell counter. That's going to be discussed in a separate video, but if you take the cells, put them in a cell counter, and you're going to count the number of cells that are in your conical tube. And the magic number here is that if you have a 24 well plate, you want to put 2,700 cells per well. That's the magic number to use. So you have to figure out what volume, what concentration, all that sort of thing when you put the cells down. If you are going to fix drugs to the cells, maybe you got to figure out that beforehand, what kind of concentrations to use. But we're just going to do it as if you're just going to take untreated cells, put them down on the plate. So you're going to put your 2,700 cells in one of these wells. Make sure you do it the same way. We're going to do it gently. You're going to take your tip, fix it to the edge, inject the cells slowly so that you don't disturb the beads or the poly-D-lysine. And you can do that for all your wells with whatever concentrations of drugs, chemicals that you want, as long as approximately 2,700 cells are there. You don't want too many or too few cells. Once the cells are there, you're actually going to take your plate and put them in the incubator overnight. So you also want to make sure that this plate is covered. Once again, you don't want the beads to be in the light because they will lose their fluorescence. So you're going to cover your plate, which has the cells in it. You're going to take your plate, put it in the incubator, 37 degrees centigrade, let it sit overnight. And once you're done with that, the plate is ready to be imaged. So you're going to take it to an immunofluorescence microscope, look at it using the green setting because the cells will glow green. You should actually be able to see the cells trace out tracks and measure those tracks. Thank you for watching. This is the Big School's Independent Research Team Prostate Metastasis Group's video on how to construct a motility assay. Thanks for watching.